Hello everyone, welcome to the Overwatch World Cup qualifiers. This is the group stage, and I'm Jason Kaplan, joined by the man who just fell off the chair. Let me get you looking all pretty and handsome. It is Flame. You guys know him from his analysis videos. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Pretty excited for Overwatch. I'm interested to see some international teams go up against each other for a spot at this World Cup. So
I do apologize to people out there. Yeah, there's slight audio issues in the beginning of the stream. All fixed now. It should be level in your ears. And we're ready with our game. It's Austria up against Serbia. And to kind of describe how this entire tournament's going to go, you have a best-of-3 group stage at the moment. And then, of course, throughout the groups, which I can show you in just a few seconds, guys, once I do get the link back up again and ready to go. It's the top 2 teams advance through into a knockout stage, where from there, you'll be able to determine the teams going through to the main event. The groups, I'll put up on your screen really quickly here as I'm just scrambling to get everything sorted and fixed. There we go. In Group A, we've got Team Germany, Team Baltic and Caspian Sea, Ireland, Poland, South Africa. In Group B, we've got Finland, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, United Kingdom. Group C, France, Croatia, Norway, Portugal, Ukraine. Group D, Sweden, Denmark, Romania, Slovakia, Turkey. Group E, Bulgaria, Israel, Italy, Russia, Switzerland. And Group F, the last group, is Austria, Benelux, Czech Republic, Serbia, and Spain. And like we said, that's going to be the actual first game we're going up with, Austria against Serbia. And Flame, I have to ask your opinion of who do you think is going to be the teams from Europe to represent this entire area?
There's too many good teams, I think, right now in Europe to make a good bet now. I think the biggest teller is going to be which captain can get their team in best shape, and I could not make a prediction right now as to like which one has the best in-game leadership. I think that'll be the big teller.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of teams, like for instance, Ernest Holt, because he was here in Cologne for a little bit, and he's saying it's been a little bit of a struggle, but it's been nice to play with the teams, and we're gonna see who's gonna kind of stand out. You know, you have Germany, was it R-Tier? You've got Skipjack, which I believe had to sit out. Internet Hulk. Actually, no, I think Skipjack is still doing it. He had to sit out for the Overwatch Open qualifiers due to some family issues. You got Sweden with IDDQD, to Vic in there, Coco, it's stacked as hell. Finland as well with Saini and with Taimu. That's the person I was looking for. It's going to be insane. And we also, not to mention, have the Asian Pacific regions as well with China and Korea in there. China having... I'd say, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know how you want to call it, Flame, but it's like 6 members from basically the same team playing together. That's going to be tough for any of these teams to beat, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the teamwork's going to come down. The teamwork's going to be the big teller in this entire tournament, and I would expect IG to make a run, Team China, but we'll see.
Well, it looks like we are loading into the game. I hope the audio does work from the game. It doesn't sound like it is right now because maybe I have it turned down, but let me see real quickly while we do fix this one up. But do you recognize any of the players of these teams? Obviously, you kind of have to be lenient in terms of what you're potentially going to see. I just realized I'm not going to have audio from this for now, so that's going to be great. I have to actually restart the game in a little bit of time to fix it. But there's any teams you kind of, or any players you particularly know that stand out here? Because I recognize a couple, in particular DoomsX and Easy Mode, but a lot of people won't know these players.
Well, one thing that I find kind of interesting is I was looking at the voting, actually, and it seems like Mercy, their team captain, is actually like 50% of the vote, around 47. So I would hope that that means that they're a really good player. But as far as that goes, I think that Austria's got a really good spread in terms of their hero picks, just based off like their pub stats, because I'm looking at their hero selections. Like, they're very diverse in what they can play.
Okay. And just to remind you guys, we can actually have ties as well. There'll be a potential tiebreaker coming up, assuming it does happen between the teams, the top 2 from each group. And that'll be happening, I think, early on next week, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the actual official timeline when it comes to that. But yeah, so I do apologize. There's going to be no in-game audio for this one. Had to fix some audio issues before, and I have to restart the entire game for it to actually fix that completely. But in the meantime, let's go to the lines for you guys at home. The people you guys have voted in for this one. On Austria, we've got Ace Palm playing McCree. We've got Watt7 playing Zarya. Thriddly over on Reaper. Zazzles on Lucio. Bommy on Reinhardt and Mercy. Not playing Mercy, actually playing Zenyatta. And for the side of Serbia, we got ShammyX on Zenyatta. We got Punisher on Zarya. Quirky Wolf on Mercy. Jazz on Genji. DoomsX over on his Hanzo, and Easy Mode on Reinhardt.
Yeah, these compositions are definitely more tailored to, I guess, players that might not be as prominent in the professional scene. I've never seen I don't see Hanzo very often on this map, but I think it could work out pretty well for them if he can get a good pick. This Reaper's kind of isolated right now on the upper ledge, and I think that if he can make a play, it'll be really good, but he has potential to just die immediately.
Yeah, and this is a new competitive mode as well, so you have to kind of keep in mind time does actually matter since it's a new time bank system, and that first point doesn't actually give you any extra time anymore, but we do see a little bit of a skirmish breaking out. You get to see 3D trying to look towards the side, trying to actually try to take that high ground back, funny enough, but he already lost it over to Jazz, who on that Genji is trying to play towards that high ground, trying to play towards the advantage, but Ace Palm taking out one immediately here, and it looks like Austria already been able to put up a stable defense.
Yeah, they're playing this ramp, which is, I think, the more default way to play this. And they had the Reaper sitting up on the upper ledge, so it made him... It was just another thing for Team Serbia to have to worry about. And half the two of their DPS players were actually not involved in that fight. They were up on the top ledge while the rest of the team was trying to push the cart. So I think they got a little bit split up. They're going to have to make a decision right now as to whether or not they're going to push him upper or lower. But if the cart's lower, you kind of have to play around it. So... It looks like they're going to go around the side entrance right now, though, and try to come in from the back, but the cart's still rolling backwards, so I'm not sure that this is the play at this moment in time.
And Thritley was very aggressive there, ends up catching out Doom's X, as well as an Earthshatter coming in out of easy mode, but not really catch on too many targets. But there's the res coming back through, but the kills are still going blue. They're still going Austria's way, as Jazz is finally able to turn on one kill, but it's just him and Doom's X, the last two men alive. I'm not sure they can really accomplish much against the entire squad of Austria, who didn't even need that res in there. They will hold again. And now with 2 minutes remaining, Serbia need to make something happen here really soon.
Yeah, they got really punished for trying to come through the connector. It's a very narrow choke point, so the Zarya and the Reinhardt were actually just able to do way too much damage, or more so than they probably should have been able to. But they really have to worry about this cart. Like, coming from that lower area is nice, but if the cart's not moving, the cart's not moving. Any fight that they win right now, if there's no time on the cart, it won't really matter. Like, we're going to see them push through the server room, but the cart's still rolling back, so someone really needs to get on that for this push to have even mattered at the end of the day.
Not to mention, all these ultimates are ready to go for Austria as well. The Graviton Surge hasn't been popped just yet, as Watch just going to back away in the meantime. Even a Dragon Strike coming out of Doom ZX, but it doesn't really catch on any single person. Bomb is able to respond onto Yzma, taking his counterpart down. The Graviton Surge is still being held onto, so he finally does pop. It picks up 3 people, and just like that, support's going to get 3 out of the 4 kills, funny enough, and that will be a wipe yet again here. Serbia not getting any momentum.
Yeah, Austria's playing this to the T. That was a really good play. They dropped the beat immediately. The Dragon ult from the Hanzo didn't get anything done, and then they had enough time to pop the Transcendence afterwards, and I think they even got a Graviton towards the end. So the cart's almost back at where the original first checkpoint is if this map had been played months ago, but it's even farther back than that. So right now they're finally going to get on the cart. They have the res. If they can make the most of this res, they'll be in a good position because there's actually no ults up right now for Austria. So I think their entire team needs to go in right now for a big fight, but keep that Mercy protected.
And Jazz is trying to fight on the high ground onto Thritley here. He's trying to at least lock down this position, lock down this control. He's going to be able to spot out another man. That's going to be Ace Palm getting taken out immediately by Jazz. He's just going to use his dash yet again to get some extra HP, but now he's overcommitted. He's by himself, but like you said, Quirky Wolf is the man to watch here. He's got at least 1 man to res here, but no opportunity to use it just yet because that's not going to be enough for them to win this fight. Mercy able to respond with the kill out of the Zenyatta, now has Transcendence available for them to contest this even further, and just time and time again, Austria picking up kills left and right. Jazz is just trying to back away. The Transcendence can be popped to keep Mercy alive, and with this time that they're buying, finally res will come through, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, they waited a little too long there. They had a really good opening once they got that pick on, I think it was Ace Palm, and they could have probably went in, but I think what happened was Punisher was trying to fight Mercy on the Zenyatta, but the Zenyatta actually won the deathmatch fight with the Zarya, so it really blew up that push. I think that if they could go back in time, they would have pushed the card a little bit earlier, but now they're going to get picked off, and I don't expect them to be able to take this checkpoint just based off the current standings of their ultimates.
Yeah, we are in overtime as well, but they don't really have anyone there to contest the payload, and that will be it. That will be overtime taking through. I also realized why there's no in-game audio, and I'm going to be able to fix it in just a second, as I'm going to hop back to my face. Actually, I muted it because I needed to have it off earlier on to do some adminning side. There we go. You can't hear it, but that was really loud. We have the sound back in. But yes, so Austria, they did hold strong, very strong. Is there any key players out there that you were looking at in particular that were like, they actually did a relatively good job in what they needed to do?
Well, Zenyatta winning the deathmatch against the Zarya was pretty good. I would say Mercy definitely played really well during that game. I keep saying Mercy and I keep wanting to say she, but it's probably a he at the keyboard, so it's really throwing off my brain. But yeah, that was good. And they actually had a really good window, Serbia did, to win the match right there. I think that they could have at least gotten the first checkpoint, not the match, but they had a big window where they had res and there were no ults up for Team Austria. So I think if they had hit that small window, they could have actually made this a lot closer. It looked very one-sided, but in reality, it could have definitely been a better game, I think, if they had chosen a little bit better routes to attack the cart from.
Yeah, and Doom ZX, we got to ask about this. He played Hanzo for the majority of that first half. Did eventually switch over, though, to McCree. Do you think that was something done just too late? Was just a little bit too late to make something happen off of that? Because this Hanzo wasn't too effective, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge, I guess. They tried to take the cart with. They never really grouped up as six, and the times when they did, they put themselves in really precarious positions. They tried to come from the connector, which was their entire team in a small choke point. They got earth shattered and swung at, and then they tried to take server room in another small choke, and they were running a comp that I think thrives on open space with the Hanzo and the Genji. So towards the end, you saw them. They realized like, oh, we need to get on the cart and fight in this lower ramp, which I think was the play from the start. So it's like the Hanzo wasn't really working, but was it the Hanzo's fault or was it just the positioning? You know, I think he knew that he should have gotten off though, because I mean, McCree in general will more or less do more damage.
All right,
more likely.
We're still seeing a similar composition as Serbia this time. They're sticking with what they went with in the first half, but they're also keeping DoomZX over on the McCree. And on the side of Austria, they're more than happy to actually allow Ridley to go onto the Genji. So he's playing the Reaper before, and just as they switched him, immediately dies. But he was playing the Reaper before, and he's going to be playing now the Genji for the team here. While Jazz has actually switched over to the tank role, who was playing the Genji in the first, was playing the Genji in the first half. So quite a lot of switch-ups here between the teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they've scrimmed together, how much they know. But this is a really tall order right now for Team Serbia. Like, they have to hold this ramp, and the cart's not even. The cart really doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I would expect this to be over rather quickly, but you never know. Anything can happen in this game. I think that pick early on the Genji was pretty big though, because it gets the McCree rolling. His aim probably feels good right now, and that charge was a little questionable, I think.
Yeah, you actually knocked down to 5 HP there. So it was trying to go with an aim battle with Dooms, but didn't work out in his favor. But still, in the meantime, they have Bombi pushed up relatively far, and Punisher as well behind the enemy team, going to be taken down by Thritley. He's a little bit overcommitted to there, but nonetheless, he does at least take one man down. But with the payload so close to actually crossing this line, they can't afford to lose out on too many men, especially without even running a Mercy. But Watt7, the only one to actually play professionally in the team, or at least competitively within the team, back on Team Project, on the Zarya with so much energy to use. He's not dying as well. He's maintaining this energy, and he's even able to push up almost by himself.
Yeah, I will say though that in this map in general, even in pubs, this is probably one of the harder points to take on this map. I mean, at the beginning, if you're gonna get held, sometimes a lot of teams will get held on this ramp, and you have to push it as a group, and you have to push it with your ults in like very specific timings. It looks like they're in a really good position to hold right now. They're gonna drop two of their tank heroes, but they still have this Transcendence to work with. If they can keep everyone alive right here, that'll be really good.
Oh, Ace Palm, though, is going big. He's been able to pick up 3 kills. Now Thritley with the Dragon Blade is trying to go in. He does take down Zoom, and this might have just been enough for them to push the payload across, and there you go. Austria off to a strong start, taking Watchpoint Gibraltar, and now allowing, I believe, Serbia to choose between Hollywood and Lijiang Tower. But still a good game nonetheless. We did see I think some really strong individual play between some of the teams, as we'll get a nice little cheeky play of the game in here. But I think, and this is something I've always liked to talk about when it comes to playing competitively. So Flame, in your experience, attacking versus defending first. Obviously, when you attack first, you know the time you have to hold. But when you defend first, you know the time you have to beat. And sometimes teams prefer to force one of the others.
I think generally you want to attack first because you really set the pace for the other team. Like you create this sense of pressure when you finish the map and there's a time that the enemy team has to worry about.
Right.
It's just like a different level of stress that isn't there when you're attacking first. Because like when you're attacking first, it's like we have to finish the map, we have to do it as fast as we can. But there's no real gauge of how well you're going to do. You'll see teams like not cap through Dorado or something, and then they'll be like, all right, now we just have to really full hold the first point of Dorado. And like that'll happen because it changes the way that they approach the game. And I think when you set the pace, you also have a lot more control in how it plays out.
Okay. Well, I guess we should talk about the new meta somewhat, since we did have a major patch recently, and we've only had really, I think, 2 tournaments being ran on it with the Ghostly Gamers over the weekend, and then the Levano tournament that's been going on between some teams. What's your kind of take on the new meta in terms of like any new heroes coming to light? How's the support kind of set up working between the teams now?
I think teams are kind of lost in some aspects. I think a lot of teams are trying really hard to not run Lucios and not run Zenyatta's, or teams are trying really hard to make Mercy work. The game changes a lot when you add this Mercy hero back in and when you remove the Lucio. Like teams have to really play a certain lineup, I think, and I think that it hasn't been discovered yet which teams are going to run what. But I would say that most times you're not going to want to change it too much. Like some teams are really good at getting reses off, but some lineups, like just hero compositions, aren't good with reses. And I think that there's some mismatches in comps right now, and I think that as this tournament goes on, you'll see the evolution of which meta supports become the standard. But right now, I think it's going to come down to a lot of swapping. We saw Mercy that game. We saw Zenyatta that game. We didn't see an Ana, but I think Ana's great on Gibraltar. You never know.
Well, even with the Genji mix-up as well, or even you don't even need Genji necessarily. It comes down to a Reinhardt, which we see a hell of a lot in Gibraltar, like you're saying. But looks like we will be going over to Hollywood. I'm just waiting for the teams to ready up. I'm off the screen half the way because I have to do the graphics in the actual meantime. So you guys kind of have to bear with me here as I switch like the names and the flags and everything like that. But we're on a game, so I can just drop you straight in and we'll get the overlay up in just a few seconds. But Hollywood, it will be Serbia on the defense initially and Austria on the attack. Sorry, other way around. No, I was right. Just didn't see Mercy in there.
Your mic just went crazy. I'm not sure if it was just for me or if the stream heard it.
It could have been for you as well. I honestly am not sure. With all the auto problems we had in the beginning of the stream, it wouldn't surprise me if that went out to stream too. I don't know if you can even hear me.
I can hear you, but you're ridiculously low.
I'm ridiculously low now. Okay.
Like muffled. It sounds like a wire is just like actually not connected. Or like
that wouldn't surprise me if a wire actually was not connected. It should hopefully fix in a second as I jingle around a couple of things. Is it any better?
That last sentence was a little alright, but
okay.
it's definitely quiet.
We good now? I'm still like tweaking some things. On my end, I'm good, which is the weird part.
Well, if they can hear you, I can hear you, but to me, you sound quite far away.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I can do for that. I don't know if anything I can do to fix that. Hopefully it just sorts itself out because we've had some minor issues in here. But in the meantime, Serbia going to be on the defense. We've got Punisher now playing Junkrat this time. We've got Jazz on Reinhardt, Doom ZX over on McCree, Easy Mode on Zarya, Quirky Wolf on Mercy, and Shamix over on Zenyatta. On the other side for Austria, we've got Bombi playing the Roadhog, Zaz was playing the Lucio, Mercy on Ana, Ace Palm over on Zarya, Watt7, who was playing the Zarya before, now on Reinhardt, and thirdly playing the Hanzo. So Hanzo, we've seen some change on the PTR with him. What's your thoughts on him in general here on Hollywood, at least on this first point?
I think they're running it in the combination with the Roadhog, which is a pretty good combination, just the two heroes. You can throw a ball hack arrow on a corner, and then you can get a really easy hook. Like, it just gives you so much scouting information for when you make pushes with the Roadhog that I think that that's more or less the combo. You can also get up on this high ground ledge immediately and start spamming into the cafe. And it's really hard to deal with the Hanzo because you can also Sonic Arrow the walls in that staircase. You can do a lot of things with the hero, just making other heroes better in terms of knowing where the positioning of the enemy team is.
Very
They're
true.
running this Ana though, and I think they're just going to wait for the Ana. And as you see there, he gets an immediate pick on the Zenyatta, and that's huge. They can just roll in right now. If they can kill this Mercy, it's a one fight, although there's the res.
And Punisher's going to be using that Riptide towards the backs as well, trying to at least delay this push a little bit further, but the hooks are still coming through somehow. I think that was Shamix actually did get taken out immediately after being hooked in, but he somehow does fall to Zazzles finally. But the kills are still coming the way of Austria, and it looks like this first part will be taken, but Punisher's trying to hold them off. Dumex is still there as well to help out. He's got the Deadeye, so he's overcommitted onto the point, and now Punisher's just trying to run for his life as Ace Palm is just going to burn him alive from the backside, even a Dragon Strike being thrown in for good measure. And that will be Austria taking the initial point.
Yeah, you saw the power of the Hanzo there. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes you get an immediate pick on the enemy's Zenyatta, and that really set them up for a successful push there. They also threw in a Junkrat tire, I think, from Punisher, and it would have killed the Reinhardt, but the Ana actually ulted him, so the damage was reduced, and the Junkrat tire actually did nothing. So it was really good timing from the Ana and the Reinhardt there, and a little unfortunate for the Junkrat.
And look at what Watt7 did, actually. He switched away, or I'm going to call him Watt now, switched it from the Reinhardt, who had an Earth Shatter, to go for Winston. Why is that?
I think they just want to play the high ground on this push. A lot of teams will, maybe, I don't know. They still have a Reinhardt, so maybe they just switched off. Maybe Bombi doesn't play Winston. It could be a communications thing or just like a team preference thing, but you generally want to Winston on this point just because it's really good for taking the high ground. They're still running the Hanzo though. I might expect him to switch, but who knows? You never know with Hanzo. It's very hit or miss. As he gets a kill on the Mercy, so proving me wrong if time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can really analyze when it comes to this in terms of predicting things. But I mean, he was behind the enemy team. He wasn't even really being focused down. And when you leave a Hanzo who knows how to play Hanzo, free reign to attack, well, stuff like that's going to happen. And Quirky, he even had the res available too. So that's a major loss here for the side of Serbia. But they're still trying to fight back. They're still trying to push back out. Quirky still has that chance to revive someone. Even Punisher trying to lead the charge with this Reaper. He's not being punished too much, but finally he's been forced back. But no one even contested the payload. And that'll be the second checkpoint now taken for Austria.
Yeah, they're running this triple tank setup, which I think is one of the more difficult setups to counter in this current meta. They have the Reinhardt, they have the Zarya, they have the Winston. Any of them with an Ana ult on them is actually one of the scariest things in the game. They might need to start switching up their heroes though on the side of Team Serbia because they're going to need some time. Like, the carts hasn't stopped moving and they capped that first point in ridiculously fast. So for this next checkpoint, I want like a Bastion or a Mei, honestly, just to slow down this cart. They need to make these ults work. They need to get a good Graviton here. And these reses really need to start coming out because a Mercy without a res it's just not a good thing.
And Dooms actually gets caught up towards the high ground off the back of the Sonic out at least. So he's able to spot him out again. He's coming through the side. I'm trying to focus on him to see where he's going. And if he can hit any of these shots, he's looking for Quirky again. Can't quite connect it this time, but there's a Dragon Strike coming through, or the Dragon, yeah, Strike coming through across the entire team. Doesn't really connect too much, and there's an Earth Shatter coming in finally, as not to mention the Death Boss about a Punisher. That might have been enough as they finally secured 3 kills. There's no res on the side of Austria this time. And the payload, though, it's still moving in the meantime. It still has not been held off. Forced to Transcendence now to Shamix just to keep this one in contention. Doomsday trying to do something about this as well, as he's forced up against 2 tanks. And there we go. Finally, Bomby will turn on the kill into him, but eventually he will be wiped out. And even Quirky finally using that res to get his team back alive, because he knows Austria's in hot pursuit. They respawn back in, but they're going to have to wait now for their main tank to come back alive.
Yeah, Watt 7 actually just jumped in immediately and created a lot of chaos and just allowed his team to get through the choke. But that Transcendence was actually really well done. They delayed the car long enough. They killed that Reinhardt late. That Reinhardt's not going to be back for the fight for a while. So it's going to give them a good 20 or 30 seconds right now. They really have to worry about this Ana ult. They don't have many ults right now except for this High Noon coming in right now from Team Serbia. If they can get a good ult here, or just one pick or two, they can make this work. But they have a tall order in defending against this incoming Ana ult.
Yeah, I wonder what Doom's can really do about this, because it's going to come down to him versus, I think, Thritley. If Thritley can get a nice reflect on or be able to assassinate him towards the back. Now the Deadeye's going to be channeled. Doesn't really have an opportunity to use it just yet, so buying some time, which you pointed out, is something that they definitely need to do. And somehow he catches Thritley being a little bit too cocky there, not having the reflect up in time. And now the shield's gone out of Bomby, and it looks like Serbia just want to charge straight through. Ace Bomb, it'll take down Punisher off towards the side, and they're using the Diva to create even more space out of Jazz, just to allow them to cleanly push through without losing anyone, to pick up some kills, and again, to buy more time.
Yeah, that High Noon, that was all they had. And the fact that he gets a Genji with that is actually ginormous. Like, you see another 20 seconds, 30 seconds coming off the clock right now. They have the res, they have the Transcendence, they have a lot to work with for this next fight, and they should be able to hold, assuming that their supports don't die immediately.
Oh, Thritley going towards the back, actually by himself again. Does get caught out, actually misses the wall he was looking to go into. And there's the Ana ult being used onto Bomby. He's going to charge straight through into this one, looking for some damage. Actually, I didn't even see the Ana ult onto him. Somehow I hear it, but I don't know where it's on. Either way, he does have no Earth Shatter to use, but in the meantime, Ace Bomb picks up a double. Graviton starts using to pull them all together. And now Punisher, the last man alive, using that Wraith form just to buy some more time. But that's going to be all she wrote here, as it looks like we're going to have Austria finally push the payload across the line with 2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining. So now, if Austria can full hold Serbia, that'll be it. They'll actually be a 1 match for them, and they'll be going into the entirety of their group stage with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that last fight was actually a little bit bizarre. They Ana ulted the Reinhardt, and he went straight for the Mercy. Through the Transcendence, I think the Mercy and the Zenyatta got split up. That res never came out, and I think that really was the issue for them, or what sealed the deal for Team Austria. The good thing is, though, for Serbia, they delayed a lot of time on that push. Like, that was looking to be a quite fast steamroll, and they turned it into somewhat of a closer to 8-minute time. So good for them, and they can that's definitely a time that they can work with on their offense right now.
And is that something you can relate back to just that one Deader that came out of Dooms? Because he was able to take down Thritley, he was able to at least halt some progression. That could have actually been, the final nail in the coffin here for Serbia.
Yeah, it definitely came down to that. Like, there were a lot of clutch plays. There was that Transcendence on the McCree. There was that High Noon that got 1 kill. Every time you get a staggered kill on the offense, or on the defense rather, especially against the offensive Reinhardt, that's massive. Like, you slow them down so much. I honestly think that if they could have protected their Mercy a little better, or maybe positioned her in spawn, not let her gotten anywhere near the point, they could have actually held for another 30, 40 seconds. Like, they blew everything on the side of Serbia to get that push. So yeah, I mean, every small play on defense makes a difference. Every pick is huge. Every time someone dies on offense, like, that slows down everything. It's very hard to cap the point when you don't have your full 6 people alive, especially when you're finishing the last point, just because of the way the spawns work and how the defense comes out. But yeah, every small play that they made there was an extra 20, 30 seconds for them, and they really made the most out of a really bad situation.
And look where Austria's actually set up. I want to point out in particular how they're defending this. You have Ace Palm in towards the cafe towards the side, pretty much alone. And I kind of worry for him. I mean, luckily for him, he doesn't have like a Widowmaker or a Hanzo to worry about. But that's a spot that could be easy overran if he gets caught up by Jazz.
Yeah, they're running this this Winston Genji offense, and I think that this is really smart. If they can get on this McCree early, they should be able to just roll in. We'll see what happens here, though, as Easy Mode's going to jump in and get immediately taken out.
Now Jazz is looking actually for the Mercy right now, who is actually playing Mercy this time. Very low on HP, is able to secure the kill, so there's no chance of a res, and even if they fail this attack, that res won't be up in time for the next fight nonetheless, and they still have easy mode able to run back from spawn here, since they have that spawn advantage. You still see Jazz going towards the backline now, looking for the other support, trying to take down Lucio, trying to take down Zazzles, but finally being flashbanged up and taken on by Thritley does at least give them some sort of control here, but Bomb is on so low HP. Punisher's able to charge through with a lot of charge, 100 energy for this man, and he's still not being dealt with. The Reaper's finally able to get some decent damage onto him, as Watt's able to finish that off, but this is a good start here for Serbia.
Yeah, they probably could have made more of that. The Genji, if Jazz hadn't died, he was in a position where he probably could have just waited a little bit longer and grouped up with his team, but he decided to go in and got picked, and now this Reaper and this McCree from the side of Austria is doing a lot of work. And the Mercy even got back to the fight. So now they're fighting two supports. They don't really have the best heroes to deal with it. They're not running... I would like a Tracer instead of a McCree here, actually, to run with the Genji Winston. It's hard to protect the McCree in this specific comp because it's a very all-in comp. And you're seeing the weakness of that McCree right now in that he's not able to finish off heroes, and he's not able to really follow up on the Winston or the Genji's damage.
Ace Bomb is going to have Deadeye, he's getting damage boosted as well, and the Transcendence isn't going to do too much, but he only takes down one, only takes down Quirky, but that might have been enough, and they use a Graviton Surge onto this man, and this man only is now Jazz, popping the Dragon Blade, looking to slice and dice his way through, he's already taken on two. Even the Sound Bear is not enough to help keep them alive, as he still will have enough men with himself included to ideally be able to take this point. Easy mode as well, even has that Primal Rage if he does need, but Punisher's there to help him out. Jazz is just buying some time, and somehow this man on 17 HP has not been picked off.
Yeah, that was a really, really good play from Punisher. That Zarya play was good. He got the pick on the Reaper, and now this res comes in and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Thurley is able to do some really good damage on a Punisher, able to eliminate him immediately when he already had such high energy. Now charging straight through with the backup of his team. He's looking for that Zenyatta. He's not able to take down Shamix, who's able to turn the kill back onto him. Ace Palm with data available. He's looking to get on the high ground, and I don't think they're going to be able to spot him out coming in from directly behind them. DoomsX won't have it in time, and that's a two-man Deadeye, following up with Bomby to secure the kill on the Quirky. And Austria, they have held yet again. Minute 30 left to go, and Serbia, they have to make something happen now because obviously they have time to work with, and it's not stopwatch, but you won't have a lot of time left in the bank, even if you're able to completely cleanly finish this map.
Yeah, they got a little carried away there. I think that they thought that they had won the point after the Zarya had gotten the 2 kills, but that res came in and actually saved 3 or 4 people, and then they kind of started trickling their deaths. They didn't expect Ace Palm to come in from the up top with the high noon. He got 2 kills for free. Now we're seeing a lot of ultras being used. It's a really big shatter out from Bomby, actually.
Yeah, and we talk a lot, actually, when it comes to professional play about having value out of ultimates, right? You don't want to overcommit ultimates because you want to be able to have them up as long as possible to delay for as long as possible. But even with the commitment of, the Ursha and the Graviton Surge, that was hands down worth it for them because now that they have the pressure on Serbia, 40 seconds left to go. They have to worry about, though, this Dragon Blade out of Jazz.
Yeah, stacking the ults there isn't that bad. I think the biggest deal that comes out of that is that they delay again, and this push is going to be really hard for them to push because they really have to kill this Mercy, and they don't have a way to get on him. You can see the positioning from Mercy. He's actually on the second point. He's not even putting himself in a position where he can remotely get picked off. And I think that's really smart, and that's going to make these games a lot easier for this Austrian defense.
Yeah, with now only 20 seconds left to go, with another clean wipe coming through. Mercy with the res available, not to mention a die out of Thritley here. That Death Blossom is available to be used. Mercy's a little bit far pushed up, eventually going to back away, and it all comes down to Jazz, who's actually still back in spawn, doesn't even have an opportunity to get here in time, and Thritley picks up a double kill, able to secure the kill on a Punisher in just a few seconds. And just like that, Austria, they have held strong, and they just 2-0'd Serbia.
That was really, really well executed support play from Team Austria, I thought. And I think that you could tell the difference in that the reses always came out from Mercy, like the player Mercy, not the Mercy, or the Mercy reses came out from the player Mercy.
Yeah.
But you didn't see the biggest ones come out from Serbia's Mercy, or Shamix, I think it was. So reses are ginormous, and I think that really set them up to hold there. They got 2 reses off on that first point defense. I think if they hadn't come through, they would have just straight up the match, or like that point would have been over.
And the play of the game goes over to Thritley at the very end, where he did use that Boston just to secure the victory. But that's going to do it here for our first game of the day. What we have coming up next is Austria versus the Czech Republic. Again, the Czech Republic, not a team I'm really familiar with in terms of who they have on the roster. But we'll be able to take a look at that in just a few seconds. I actually, in the meantime, want to go ahead and look over who they do have, just so we have an idea before we do go into the break.
I will load that up as well.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't have it ready to go. But I'm still joined by Flame, if you guys are wondering. He's graciously able to help me out here and help bring some legitimate analysis to our casting. Let's see. You just fell out of the chair. Oh, it's in German. Okay. Where are you? C's. Okay, so they have Hydrax, Ivanhoe, Dareneko. Actually, I know Dareneko. He played on... he played on a team. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I have for sure casted him. Leshran, Kunhuta, and Falcon. So it'll be a rematch between those two teams, Austria, or not a rematch, but we'll see Austria yet again up against Czech Republic. And I actually did send out a little of a survey to the players asking like what they thought about the groups in general, and we did have a chance for Austria to respond to us saying, Mercy, their captain, saying they actually think they can make second in the group if they don't get monsters like Germany or Sweden in the knockout stage. So they're pretty confident to be able to make it through out of their group without too much of a problem.
I mean, they looked really strong in that match. I'm not sure about the skill of Serbia or what, but right. Austria looked really good there. I mean, you could tell that whoever was shot calling was doing a really good job. They played around the res really well. They played around their ults really well. They didn't stack ults too much, and their positioning was just top notch. So whoever their shot caller is definitely carrying them right now, or just making it look like they're doing better than maybe they might feel like they are. But those are really convincing wins right there. Like they didn't give up the first point on either map, and that's pretty hard to do.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head to a short break, but when we come back, we'll be kicking off the Czech Republic up against Austria. This is the Overwatch World Cup group stage qualifiers for Europe, and we'll see you guys back in hopefully a few minutes' time.